Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lou? Yeah.
I love you too. Who's that texting you?
Nobody, baby. Don't worry about it.
Nobody. It says Tina. Who the fuck is Tina? Who the fuck is Tina?
Bitch, you know what? Get your shit and get out.
You know what? I love you, babe, but maybe we should take a break.
A break? Maybe you should kiss my ass.
Sound familiar? You in a relationship and this shit ain't working. It's time for the truth. This is the voice of reason with Zoe Williams.
Come on, man. You got to give me a better beat than that. That is the softest, peanut butteriest beat intro ever. If I don't get no damn fire. There we go. That's a little bit better. Just the taste. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the voice of reason on Dash Radio. Hot button radio. Listen, the only way to listen to this show, I know a lot of people are going to hear the replay. They're going to hear the uploaded YouTube version. The only way to hear this show live and participate, you got to download the Dash Radio app. It's a free app. You can get it on the iPhone platform. You can get it on the Android platform. The only way to get down is to download the app, then go find in the genre section of the myriad of radio shows and networks and stations, Hot Button Radio. Once you get to Hot Button, dude, I'm here Monday, 5 to 7 p.m., Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m., this is all Western time, PST, PDT, however you want to do it. And Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Get at us, damn it. That's the only way to participate live. The voice of reason. Let me just do this really quick. We got an incredible topic, so I want to give out the phone number right now because this is a caller-driven show. We need your perspective. We need the truth, your honesty, your authenticity. The number to dial is 844-55-1. 844-55-1. That's the hotline to get in and share your perspective on tonight's topic. Tonight's topic, geez, should I introduce the girls first or should I say the topic? I'll say the topic first. In intimate relationships, are women more violent than men? If so, why? Domestic violence against men, true or false? Women are more likely to be intimate terrorists with controlling behaviors in relationship than most men. Get to your phone lines, 844-55-1, 844-55-1. I'm going to introduce my august panel of females, and I'm hoping, I was told by a feminist not to call women females.
Why?
So she said it was a derogatory term.
Well, what are we then?
Well, she was like, there's females in every species, but there are only women in the human species. So it's very disrespectful.
Oh.
I was like, wow, I never knew I disrespected my mother so much. Anyway, 844-55-1, that's the number to dial. Are women more violent than men? Are women the real relationship terrorist? 844-55-1. To my immediate right, Neecole has joined us again. Say your last name for the people out there. I like, messing with your last name.
Cockerham.
Cockerham. Neecole Cockerham is in the building. And again, to her immediate right, we have none other than the young gun. What's so funny?
Her name is, I'm still cracking up. I'm
It
sorry.
is hysterical, right? That's Whitney Tabor.
Hey, that is me. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We're back.
Exactly. And on her right, returning to us yet again, Miss Cheyenne Bryant in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello there.
So let's get into it. Violent females. Whitney, when was the last time you slapped the Kool-Aid out your dude's mouth?
Let's see. What is today? No, I'm kidding. I have never. I was raised by my dad, so he said, "Don't put your hands on anybody you don't want to put hands back on you." I believe the last time I was in an altercation with a man, I was probably 22, and he swung on my friend in the nightclub, so we had to get him up. You know what I'm saying? Like like 3 or 4 of my girls handled that. Yeah.
Y'all jumping people with me?
We didn't jump. He threw a glass at my friend's head, man.
What is that? The pretty gang?
Yeah, we don't let it fool you.
In the law enforcement department, they call that self-defense.
Word.
Jumping somebody's okay.
We did
After
not
you
jump
threw the
him.
glass?
Hey, cut Necole's mic off.
Thanks,
She's on
Neecole.
punishment.
She's part of my crew, though. Watch
She's on
out.
punishment for 120 seconds. Cheyenne, speak on your violence. I know you violent, so don't even try to hide it right now.
Well, the first 3 years of my 6-year engagement, I was verbally and physically abusive. The last time that I did that was a situation where we were driving in the car. I got really upset. I'm in the driver's seat. He's in the passenger seat. He'd said something that I felt was disrespectful. His intent wasn't disrespectful. And I closed hand hit him with my right hand.
See what you
And
made
punched.
me do to you.
Well, I didn't say see what you made me
Knocked
do to
him out?
Neecole. I just said this is just what it is, and this is
You
what
take
we
this.
do.
Listen, I want to hear from men out there who's got the smooth shit slapped out of them by their significant other, their girl. Please call us at 844-55-1. I want to hear from women who, reared back and slapped his ass because he deserved it. I want to hear your story. What's your crime of passion? Call me right now and let me know. Because you know how women do. You guys like to justify why you do things, right? So you can remain blameless. Women like to, well, I cheated because you did, right? Or, you cheated, so I cheated. I want to know. Tell me the truth, ladies, about your violence in the relationship you're in or past relationship or whatever. 844-55-1 is the number to dial. A lot of people don't know more than 830,000 men fall victim to domestic abuse every year, which means every 37.8 seconds somewhere in America, a man is getting the shit slapped out of him, battered, beaten down by his woman, according to the National Violence Against Women Survey. That's pretty interesting.
Is there a violence against men survey somewhere?
Actually,
course.
Is there a place
There
in-
is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
There is.
no question.
We
Yeah.
can break it down. 95%.
Hold on, pimp. Cut her mic off. Necole's mic is on punishment for a minute. We talking about women being violent. Actually, there is. Men kick women's ass all the time. We have the notes right here. No. We're talking about women losing their cool and beating up their dude.
It's about to happen right now.
It ain't gonna happen. I ain't no easy win, nigga. Anyway, we got Sayed on the phone out of New York. City so nice they had to name it twice. Talk to me, Sayed.
New York.
What's going on, Zo?
I'm good, man. Talk to me about this situation, homie.
All right, well, let me before I get into it, I just want to say I'm a big fan of 5150 show.
Word.
Always holding down intelligent conversation. You're brilliant, man.
Appreciate
I
that,
give you credit
brother.
For that, man.
I respect you for that.
And-
Thank you,
and-
sir.
No problem. Hello, ladies. How you doing?
Hello, Saeed. How are you?
What's
How are
up?
you?
What up?
Very good, thank you. So, I would say I'm 23 years old, so I haven't been in that many relationships. Maybe just dating here and there. But the relationships I did have, they weren't very violent. I kind of strayed away from the violent women because I can automatically tell how they were gonna interact with me, regardless of any kind of circumstances. But when they did get heated, I always knew how to diffuse a situation where I don't have to raise my hand at her. or
Have
she
you ever
doesn't
been
have
in
to
a
raise it at me. But,
situation, Sayed, have you ever been in a situation where there was a heated argument heated discussion, and you was like, "Hey, I need to walk away from this situation before it gets bad."
Oh, yes.
And then
Yes,
when
many
you
times, many times.
and then when you did that, you got called a bitch ass nigga.
Nah, no.
I love people can't admit. People can never admit.
That's crazy. No,
I'm just
I never-
saying
I
that
never-
happens.
I'm
You're a
the
coward.
kind of
You don't want to
person-
have this fucking conversation. You're a bitch. Whoa, hey.
That's when he smacks you. As soon as
I mean, I can say, all right. I'll be honest this time. I'll be really honest.
Oh, so you was lying the first time?
He
This
was. I
motherfucker here.
felt
No.
it.
I wasn't lying. No. But I'm saying, like, in my past relationships, I'm in one right now, and in this one, we've had some fiery conversations where one time we were walking through a park, and I got so upset I felt like I was gonna swing, and I was like, oh my god, what am I thinking? I can't hit her, and I just said, listen, just leave me the fuck alone, and I just walked away. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Sure.
No, go
I
for
mean,
it.
I've been cursing the
I
whole
already
time.
did anyway, but you know.
Jesus. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like one incident where it got so the fire inside of me just got so uncontrollable that I just had to walk away. I couldn't just stay there and continue to interact with her because it was just getting outrageous.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
just had to just walk away.
Man, I so appreciate you taking the time to call us, man. Twitter is on fire, too. Thanks for the call. Hey, get to your phone lines right now,
No doubt,
844-55-1, man. And call in and let me know if your woman is a man beater. Not a man eater. A man beater. They're out there, 844-55-1. Listen. Oh, God. The big black beard on Twitter says there's no way possible to completely document women violence against men because of the shame. Who wants to come out and be like, my woman beat my ass? This black eye is from my woman. Who wants to come out and admit that?
no one. He didn't even want to. Or caller didn't even want to admit that he.
How many women are out there taking their dudes' phones?
Oh, that's like 99% of women, I believe.
Like, hey.
That's a made up statistic. But
Unask the cell phone. You're in a toxic relationship if blank is happening. Whitney?
if, let's see, bullying, I believe, is happening.
Who's a bigger emotional bully than a woman?
A woman.
844-55-1. Somebody
Yeah,
call us right now.
I'm sorry. Women, me and my friends were having this discussion earlier, and we believe women are emotionally more abusive than men. They can't handle the men. The men are like, oh, I'm gonna smack this. Okay, we can't hang with you with the boxing, but don't trip. As soon as you stop beating my ass, I'm gonna hit you on some intellectual stuff that's gonna mess you up.
Wow.
Boom.
I'm damn. Okay.
That's it.
This is getting bad. You're in a toxic relationship if blank is happening, Neecole.
If you're constantly arguing, and you're definitely in a toxic relationship if you have to put your hands on someone.
I love it. Cheyenne?
If you feel like you're surviving in your relationship versus communicating in a healthy state and being built up, you have to survive in your relationship. You're being destroyed. You're always on the defense. It's always resistance. Nothing's effective. I mean, because that leads to what? Aggression. And then to what? Physical violence.
Do you think women know that the way, since OJ, let's just go back. Since OJ happened, the way police respond to domestic violence, the way police, there's so much more awareness now in terms of domestic violence from men to women that if you fart on your woman, you're going to jail. If that hot ass fart coming out your ass bruises her arm, nigga, that's it. That's your ass, literally, right? So my point is there's a different thing happening now legally and in terms of the media. My question now is, are women aware of that and using that by being more emotionally manipulative, more argumentative, more condescending in a way that's kind of saying, I dare you.
Yes.
All you got to do. It's like kids. You know how kids are with their parents.
When grandma's around.
Whoop me. I will call CPS immediately. I dare you to whoop me. Kids are like that now. Somebody call us right now. Are women manipulating the system so they can be more violent? Thomas from LA, you're on the line.
Yo, man, I think, women, they just standing up for their rights. Us as men have tried degrading them and, just, destroying them as the culture. I feel like women, without women, there is no future.
Thank you, Thomas.
That was very sweet. Is she holding a gun to your head right now? Is she there?
You can say
Nah, but she holds the key to my future. Man, like when I get 80, I want one of my kids to take care of me. If I don't have no wife that's down for me or no woman that's down for me, I ain't gonna have nobody looking after me when I'm.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Come. Listen.
Haters gonna hate.
So
Haters
Come
are
on.
gonna hate.
That's not even on the topic.
The reality of the topic is it's so it's actually so
We're talking about violent women.
unbalanced that
Why is it unbalanced? Let's go deeper.
because 95% of domestic violence occurrences occur on the behalf of men. So if you want to talk about the 5%, we can. The 5% of the women that are abusing men, we
This is
can. It's
why
just
I
a
love
short
Neecole.
conversation.
This is why I love Neecole. This is why you're here. Let me just, don't give her high five yet.
hell.
Because stats can be manipulated. And when you say 95% of domestic violence cases going against men to women, first off, that's called the severe domestic abuse. Now, when we talk about moderate domestic abuse, you can find this out in a book called Intimate Relationships by UCLA professor Benjamin Carney. Moderate violence happens from woman to man in almost reverse numbers. And when they say moderate violence, they're talking about slapping, throwing things, kicking, punching, spitting, all of that. So what happens is in the media, they want to deal with just the end result of a man snapping.
Right.
Now,
So you mean
hold on, let me finish. Because I don't want to hear just 95% of men beating up women.
absolutely not.
We want to get smart about it. Let's get the facts in here. Women are more violent than men in intimate relationships, and it has been proven. The reason why men get center stage in domestic violence is because impact.
Is it because
There's something, let me give you this information. Cut her mic off.
I'm getting it.
There's something out there that clinicians use, therapists use. It's called the CTS. Go look it up. That's the Conflict Tactics Survey. Everybody hates it, but everybody uses it. And when you break down the CTS, you'll find that women are far more violent than men in intimate relationship in the category of what is considered moderate violence. Now, I've already outlined what moderate violence is. Slapping, kicking, punching, spitting, throwing things, that stuff. Women get to do it. In America, we have a double standard when it comes to domestic violence. That double standard is, man, you should be able to take whatever she throws at you and do nothing. Right? Now, on the flip side, the reason why men get the starring role in domestic violence is because we're bigger and stronger than you. So when a man loses it, he tends to hurt your ass. That's what it is. But that doesn't let women off the hook for being violent in the first place. Cheyenne.
Wait, but that's interesting you said that, Zoe, that because men being more powerful, they tend to do more of the injury, because I found in studies that when domestic violence or violence is reciprocated in a relationship, it's usually the man who ends up being the one with the injury versus the woman. So I get what you're saying, Zoe, but at the same time, even though you guys are big, bad, and woofy, when the abuse is reciprocated, you guys come out with more of the injury, and women are more apt to be the instigators in the violence of the relationship.
Okay, start, finish, moderate, extreme, national domestic violence statistics. 4 women die every day due to domestic violence.
Should have kept
Don't
her mouth
challenge it.
closed. How about it?
I can't.
Did you
See?
blow that up?
Yeah.
Did you
yeah.
blow that
Because
up?
let's go back to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith gets in trouble with ESPN because he spoke on something that people who have an agenda don't want to hear. And when he said, we have to ask the women, what are you doing? And they say, oh, no, ESPN, take your ass out of here. Yeah, 4 women might be getting killed, and we can bottom line and end result it if we want to, but women will never learn accountability until we say, well, what did you do? And now, sociologists, clinicians, psychiatrists, they're all coming to say, wait a minute, emotional violence is way more damaging than physical violence, except the kind that kills, right? And now they're starting to say, who perpetuates emotional violence more in a relationship, a man or a woman? And they're finding out that women degrading men, talking down to men, emotionally emasculating men. What? You mean to tell me after 18 years of being with one woman and I just been absorbing that kind of heat all day long, one day I ain't gonna snap? This is why men handle it different with each other. Cheyenne?
I was just going to say a good example of that would be Ray Rice and his wife. Because prior to them getting on the elevator, she had already spit and slapped him. When they got on the elevator, the camera shows her jumping in his face. I'm not saying, wait, Neecole, I see your face.
I didn't say anything.
I'm not saying that I'm condoning or it was okay for him to put hands on her. What I'm saying is that the instigating started before the elevator. Once in the elevator, the camera shows her lunging and charging him in the elevator. Then, of course, you see him knock her out.
Yeah, he peppered her up.
He peppered her and dragged her out.
Properly up.
Well,
and
when
dragged
you
her
get
out.
peppered, that's multiple punches. No, he knocked
knocked
her
her
the
out.
fuck out.
Knocked her out.
Now stay your ass in the corner of that elevator and we all good.
No,
Right.
he helped her out. He helped her out because he dragged her out by her feet. Was it her feet he
her
dragged
leg,
her
her
out?
arm.
No, he helped
By
her
her feet.
afterwards.
By her feet.
Listen,
But
she helped herself to a knuckle sandwich. She made that sandwich.
But I was going to
So-
say, as a woman, I don't condone any violence either way. But I do think that women need to, what Whitney said a little earlier, that her dad said to her, they need to be more mindful of the interrogation that they're doing and the instigating that they're causing or they're creating in their man. You can't
Before we
cause-
take this quick break, because we have to go.
Go ahead.
Before we take this quick break, how do men deal with it on the basketball court? You foul me hard, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you, hey, motherfucker, what's up with the elbows, nigga? You going to say, who the fuck you calling a nigga? And 32 seconds later, we going to scruffle it out. We going to figure it out physically, and then it's over. Then we go back to playing basketball. Imagine being married to a woman that you got to swallow the shit talking for years.
That's surviving in your relationship.
That's
it's
my
unhealthy.
point. 844-55-1. We got to take a quick break. When I come back, LB from Connecticut and others. I see y'all on the line. We'll talk about it. Violent women in relationships on the rise. Get out of here, Neecole. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason has returned to Hot Button Radio. Dash Radio is the app. It's a free app. Download it right now. Hot Button Radio has the hottest talk in the game anywhere. There's different shows on this network about script writing, about relationships. Man, it's crazy. Hot Button means we have the hottest topics in the game. Get at us right now. Get to your phone lines, 844-55-1. That's the number to dial, 844-55-1. There are 4 forms of battering. Physical includes pushing, shoving, slapping, hitting with fist, kicking, choking, grabbing, pinching, pulling hair, except during sex, or threatening with weapons, except during sex. And then there's sexual abuse, which includes forced sex with the threat of violence. That would be rape, right? Sex after violence has occurred, or except if it's consensual.
Relax.
There's some of that going on too. You know,
50 Shades.
it's a hell of a line, man.
50
it's blurred.
Shades of Grey, Whitney said.
Yeah, he's
It's a
getting
hell of a
real
line
50
here.
Shades over here.
Right. But then
Dominate.
But this is where women are the masters, in my opinion, with the exclusion of just pimps and shit. Psychological/emotional abuse. Women are great with
we?
that. Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. This is the double standard that I don't like about women. Who's the best communicators? Women, right?
Yeah.
Who's the best liars? Women. right? Who's the best cheaters? Women, but we don't do it as much as you.
We just don't get caught, man.
What the
We're smart.
fuck? You're the best at all the bullshit, but you don't do none of it.
But I don't think women are the best communicators. I believe women talk the most. Men tend to communicate more
telling
effective.
the truth.
Absolutely not.
I'm just
You
telling the
telling the
truth.
truth.
Women talk
Oh,
more,
speak
and
on
men
it.
tend to exhibit effective communication. Communication is not effective
Neecole.
unless you have an understanding. Men tend to do a lot more active listening than we do. We blab a lot more, and I'm just
God.
keeping it real.
It's true.
Cheyenne, I've got a shovel. You
Neecole,
can shovel
come
all
with
your
it.
bullshit, or you can shovel a pile of dirt right on top of yourself with that one.
What?
Come with it.
Absolutely. Like men
I'm
men are
appalled.
better communicators. You would be, wouldn't you, right now? Women are better communicators simply because
Then you should be able to communicate.
That's what I was just going to say. It's happening right now, Nicole. It's happening right now. It's happening right now.
Because I'm so appalled. I'm stumped right now. All I want to say is this. We are talking about the process of this abuse in which you speak of.
Speak on it. Go ahead. Speak on
We're
the
speaking
process.
of the process of it, and you want to arrange it. You want to take steps in how the abuse begins all the way until how the abuse ends.
Right.
Correct?
Let's understand this really quickly about abuse, about violence in relationship. There's so much. I need you to go get this book. It's a textbook from UCLA called Intimate Relationships. It costs $88. It's a textbook written by two sociologists, they're teachers. I mean, they're professors at UCLA, Bradbury and Benjamin Kearney. You got to get the book because in the book, it outlines the fact that violence is pervasive in all forms of relationships. I don't give a fuck if you two babies with Pampers on. You guys, have you ever seen two babies fight?
It's funny.
They do fight.
It's hilarious.
Right?
Sorry.
All the way up to the elderly. Have you ever seen two old people fight?
Yes.
They fight too. So violence is part of the makeup of intimate relationship. Now, what happens is when big corporations, when money gets brought into it, when the judicial system, which is all about making money off of you, when they get involved, right? Now it becomes this big giant offense and this is wrong. And then there should never be violence in religion. Listen, as long as human beings are still learning how to use their frontal lobe, there's going to be violence. As long as we have a limbic system, an old reptilian brain, there will be violence. And I'm going to tell you right now, women are not the victim they are depicted to be in the media. Now, there's levels to domestic violence. We got IPV, right? Intimate partner violence. You have CCV, common couple violence. And then you have IT, intimate terrorism. Now, since OJ, all violence has been seen, and all domestic violence has been seen through the lens of intimate terrorism. Did you know that 50% of couples, newlyweds, this guy Benjamin Kearney did this study at UCLA. He was at the University of Florida before he came to UCLA. He did a study with couples that were, before they got married, going into newlyweds over a couple of years. 50% of them experienced violence in their relationships and still went on to have marriage. Still went on to get married and still went on to have a happy marriage. And so what he found statistically is that violence is not the determining factor on whether they stay together or not.
I don't believe so.
I don't give two shakes of a fat rat's ass what you believe. I'm saying go study and then see, that's the difference between critical thinking and just having an opinion that's not backed by anything. 844-55-1 niggas. Call in right now. We've got LB from Connecticut. Get at me, partner.
Hey, Zo, what's up? How y'all doing?
I'm just
Doing
trying to
great.
teach. I'm just trying to teach.
What's
They
up?
don't wanna
Yeah,
hear.
I'm like, we're in class right now.
What's going on? LB.
Hey, Zo, I want to make 2 points. I listened to your Zo What morning show for this Monday.
Appreciate you,
I have
man.
to say that's the most powerful show that I've ever heard, and I've been listening to you for a while. That show, you're breaking down niggas and everything like that. I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing, brother, because you got my support.
Man, I appreciate that. That
point.
means the world to me, man. Thank you.
My second point is women are using the court system as a crutch when it comes to domestic violence. Women will swing on you, hit you, spit on you, with the expectation that you won't uppercut them because all they got to do is call the police, and already know who they taking to jail when they come.
They taking the dude to jail, right?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've heard of my friends where the girl is swinging on them. They don't do nothing but push him to the side. She ups and calls the police. Now he's in jail.
And not only that, LB, let me add to that. Studies that not my opinion, studies have shown that when taken to court, the excuse that women use is self-defense. So that's easier for them to get off. Or even at the house, it's self-defense. I was defending myself. Right. That's why I had to hit back. And if her bruises or wounds tend to be bigger than his or more intense, then she's able to use that. I'm not sticking up for neither nor. That's just what the studies happen to show.
From personal experience, I didn't beat anybody's ass, but I've been around when I've seen some domestic stuff go down. And yes, the police straight up said, "Sir, you have scratches on your arm. Do you want to take her to jail?" And the man in the situation said, No. He said no. He straight up said no. She has a daughter that she needs to make sure gets to school.
How about it? Sounds like empathy.
And guess what? He is now screwed. He went through 3 years of court system BS, all that. He ruined pretty much his career.
Right.
And she dipped out like that.
Now, let me just say this, man. Thank you for the call, brother.
Thanks,
I really
LB.
appreciate that, LB.
Thanks,
Good
LB.
looking, man.
Yep.
And let me just say this. Just because it's called common couple violence, and the reason why it's called common couple violence is because they found out that it's hella common violence in relationship. Let's CCV, common couple violence. IPV, intimate partner violence. Just because they have these different tiers doesn't mean that CCV, common couple violence, or IPV, intimate partner violence, can't kill. It's still hella dangerous for women and men, and women at a greater number than men. Why? Because men are stronger. This is why people don't like the CTS, the Conflict Tactics Survey. They don't like it because it doesn't account for a man's impact. When men hit women, we break y'all. So again, the stereotype is take whatever she can throw at you. That's a real man. In other words, America is creating a society of battered men under the auspices of saying that is what a good man is.
Well, I don't believe that the statistics are going to be accurate just due to the fact that I don't believe not every man is going to come forth and say that I'm being abused.
And not every woman either.
Right. But 65% of all children that are abused in America are abused by women. That statistic is.
That's telling you that women are violent.
I never said that they weren't violent.
If I break up with him and I had a fucking vision that we was going to be together, and now every time I wake up and you're not here and you're not helping me and this is stressing me out and this is too much.
I'm taking it out
and he
on
looked just
your son
like
who
you.
looked just like you.
That's your ass, little boy.
And not only will I physically abuse him, but verbally, you just like your daddy, you ain't shit.
Wow.
That's how it comes out sometimes.
Can we deal with women and their violent ways? Can we deal with your vile, vindictive, angry... I play the angel on TV, but at home, I'm Linda Blair. 844-55-1. We've got Mike from D.C. You're on the line, man. Could you speak to this, man?
Hey, what's up, Zoe, man? You know, you my life coach mentor, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, what's up, ladies?
Hello, how you doing?
What up?
Yeah, man, my suggestion is, I just think, and I might be going a little bit off the subject, but not totally off. I just think after the feminist movement that I just think society has started breeding and teaching women how to live through women these days are living through a male psychology. Like, they're more competitive and masculine now. Like, when I was growing up and my dad used to come home pissed off and mad, my mom, like her old school ways, she knew that her tone can change the environment of a negative situation. So she used to tell me and my little brothers, like, look, don't say nothing to him when he come in. I'm going to calm him down. Like, women have lost that art, and they have lost that art of their tone. Like, women have a special gift in their tone. They could change the tone of any negative situation. That could calm a man down. But I think the society we live in, women want to be more competitive and masculine now, and they want to match us. What do you think about that, Zoe?
I think that's cold game. I just called Cheyenne Bryant Kobe Bryant. That's her nickname. I call her Kobe
since
because
day one.
she hella competitive. And I be trying to tell her, like...
Wait, what'd you say, Zoe? If someone dunks on me, I'm going to dunk on them harder?
She going to try to come back and dunk on. And I was just saying,
Very true.
it takes... When you're mentally competitive in any dispute, in any argument, it takes you out of... Or it decreases your ability to keep the conversation in context. It then turns into one-upsmanship, which manifests itself as tit for tat. You said this, I'm going to say that. So again, in a way, you got to get the intellectual competitiveness out of the way first. That's why I tell Cheyenne, she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's smart, but as a radio personality, she has to work on that. I love her to death. Don't I?
Yeah, I agree.
Don't I love you?
Can I say one more thing? Oh.
Do I love you or no?
I mean, when you're not being negative Nathan and you're able
See,
to...
here we go. Here comes Kobe.
Kobe, she about to dunk on you.
Period. When you're not being negative
watch out.
Nathan, then you can make progress. That's what a true leader does, not by force, not by
And you know
negativity, but by role model and by having compassion for who they're attempting to lead. But the person has to want to follow you before you can lead them, by the way. So if Dr. Bryant has no... You there?
Finish,
okay. If Dr. Bryant has no desire to follow Mr. Zoe, then you can't lead.
Mike, what did you had one more question,
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike,
Let's
what's
get you in here real quick.
I was gonna say, I just think for women, I just think women have lost the art of using their femininity to finesse men. Like now, women, I'm 30, I'm 28 years old, and like women are starting to call me a bitch now, and I was like, where are we going with this?
And what do you? Can I just ask? Look, I want to ask Mike. As soon as a woman
Number
calls
8.
you a bitch, as soon as that woman calls you a bitch, what do you really want to do? Like, be real with me. Don't sugarcoat it. We don't need that. As soon as a woman calls you a bitch, what do you really want to do to her?
Honestly, I want to call her a bitch back, but that's what I really want to say. But it doesn't. To be honest with you, Ms. Tabor, it doesn't really make me mad. It scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Not like on a feminine level, but I'm just saying it's just like, wow, women call me a bitch. I don't know what to do. It's kind of like, wow.
It takes you back.
You know what I'm saying? They're kind of like, wow, this girl might want to. She might have a sexual attraction on me by calling me. A bitch.
And you know what?
Like, wow.
Hey, Mike, again, man, I appreciate you for reaching out,
Thanks for
man. We
calling,
got to
Mike.
move. Great call. Let me just say this. When a man is fearful in the presence of a woman, it's not that he's necessarily afraid of her. He's really afraid of what he might have to do. Like, and that's real. You got some pussies out there who get whipped and get punked around by their woman, feel like they don't have no recourse. But I'm talking about real men. There's some real men are afraid of what they might do. So this is why you'll see a man just disconnect. Okay, I'm out. I see you on that bullshit. I'm out. 844-55-1 is the number to dial. Twitter is on fire. I promise I'm going to get to you guys. At Zoe Williams is my Twitter handle if you want to get your comment in. I mean, they're just filling up by the second. We got to go to another caller really quickly, Neecole, in your aggressive self.
I just want to tell the ladies to get in on this. We got a lot of calls from guys all day today.
Because guys have been getting their ass kicked for years. Guys, I want you to reach out and tell me the truth. Just reach out and say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of her slapping on me.
And ladies
pushing
calling,
me around.
You
I'm
see?
sick and tired of
You
it.
see how you are.
And ladies, call in and tell us why you slapped him around. I really want to know.
Kush from Chicago, Chirac in the building. What's happening? Kush.
Hello.
Kush. He went to go get some Kush.
Hello?
Yeah,
Nope.
Are you there, Kush? What's happening? Rush.
Okay, you got me on right now, though?
Yeah, you on live, brother.
Okay, man. Let me get to it, man. I'm just gonna go straight into the point that you were just building upon. Actually, this is Russ. You were talking about the battered men in society. I think there are a lot of battered men in Chirac, Chicago, like you said. I got plenty of friends who are
in relationships right now with their baby mama, wives, or girlfriends or whatnot, who are really being extorted by women. And a lot of this happens, I think, when we under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Say more.
For instance, with me, I think it had a lot to do with like pillow talk. Women have taken advantage of me during pillow talk sessions. I get all the time women are telling me that I'm a sweetheart. I've always been a young man. I've always been respectful. You know, I've always honored my mom and my grandmother. And women, I think, tend to take advantage of that.
And can you say in what ways they tend to take advantage of you? Can you give examples?
I'll give you an example. I have an issue with my wife. Now, my wife acts like a baby mama, you know. And the thing is, she tries to control my emotions, and she tries to control when I can see my child.
Wow. Pay-per-view.
Is she your wife, or is she just your baby's mama? I mean, you guys live together? Because the two don't make
well, we were living together. And we got to a point where we got to an argument where the argument could have led to a fight, and I never put my hands on her.
Uh-huh.
She jumped up in my face. She got all personal with me, you know, but I never put my hands on her.
Did she put her hands on you?
I never. We don't live together now.
But did she put her hands on you? Has she ever been violent toward you, physically violent?
Silent.
No, she never been violent.
That would be a yes.
Me.
First and foremost, let me say this really quick, Rush. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she loves to beat up her big brother, who's 18, right? But I'm constantly urging her not to get in a rhythm of slapping, pushing, punching, fighting, kicking. I know that's your brother. He's always going to look out for you. He ain't going to hurt you. But if you start modeling this kind of behavior with your big brother, when you get close to somebody like you're close to your big brother, you're going to fall back into your patterns of what is playing to you. And you might slap a dude or punch a dude, or kick a dude, you know, who has his own baggages or his own unresolved issues and may not respond favorably to that. So to speak to Neecole, like, even jumping in a dude's face is asking for trouble in a lot of situations. You have to understand, most people, like I said, are a work in progress, and you don't know how far along they are in that work. And if they're at the beginning of their personal construction site and you jumping in a motherfucker's face, that's your ass.
Let me just say this to be extremely clear.
Thank you, Rush, for the call, man.
I'm going to say this to be extremely clear. I have never put my hands on a man.
You sound like it. You sound like you want to whoop a nigga's ass today.
Because I sound like I have some strength and some backbone. I've never put my hands on a man. I've never been in an abusive relationship either way.
You're racist too?
I
shit is going
abusive
bad.
relationship either way, from them to me or me to them. You know what I mean? Not in an intimate level of a relationship. I've had to get into it with some friends on a physical altercation, but not in that way. I don't have those kind of relationships. I'm not abusive mentally or physically. So
you sound
try
like
somebody
it.
else.
You sound like it. 844-55-1. Get to the phone lines right now. We're talking about abusive women, how women love kicking men's ass and then feigning, oh, I'm a victim and I had to cut his foot off. And you're trying to keep him in your house. 844-55-1. That's the number to dial. Lucy from Arizona, you're on the line. Talk to me right now, Luce.
Hi, Zoe. I'm so happy to talk to you.
How are you, honey?
Great, thanks. So I just wanted to comment. Actually, I'm in agreement with Zoe on this issue. I think women, we may not be conscious of this, but we do take advantage of our lesser power. So when we're in a relationship, we may not realize that we're being violent, but we think we just get away with it, and we know that, and so we do it.
Lucy, are you an abuser? Do you abuse your mate, or have you abused your mate in the past?
I will admit I have. Now, I grew up actually in a domestic violence household. Now, my father beat up my mom, and he had a drinking problem, and he only did it when he was drunk. So that's a different issue. And I have a good man now, and this is my second serious relationship, and I've noticed I've been violent, and I realized, we talked about it, and I realized, like, he gets mad, and it's like, why do you think you can do that? And then, if I were to hit you, what would happen? Like, it's not fair. It's not a fair thing. And yet, women are more violent in a relationship than men, right? So you'll have women are violent more times than men. So that one time maybe your man would hit you, yes, it's going to probably be a very bad situation, but women are definitely more violent, and they may not be conscious of it, and I think they should become conscious of it, that they are indeed violent. Even if it's a small punch or a slap, it's abuse, and it does happen a lot, actually, in relationships, and we don't realize that we're taking advantage of our position.
How awesome is Lucy? We appreciate
Thanks
the
for
call.
calling.
Thank
Really
you for
appreciate your
reaching
call,
out. The
Lucy.
voice of reason. Hot Button Radio, Dash Radio. You know how it is. You know what we do. We're going to have difficult conversations. We're going to ask questions. We're going to push the conversation, but we also want to provide some level of understanding. Lucy was a great caller. We appreciate that. Get to your phone lines right now, 844-55-1. That is the number to dial. Right now, we have Randy from Cincinnati. Holla at me, Cincy.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
So I got a story. This is the one thing about the court system with women. Like, I had a false DV charge put on me by my ex-wife, right? But after the whole TPO and stuff is dropped and all that, she started attacking me again, and trying to, but she would call the police and try to get me in trouble again. But when she attacked me, so I didn't want to have her arrested in front of my children because I think that that's kind of damaging to them. But what I found out is I can go to the civil court. So I'm like, okay, cool, go to the civil court because now there's a divorce in progress and everything. And I reported that. Went to the court date. She didn't show up. They dismissed it without her even being present. I have videotape of one of the altercations, scratches, photos, and everything of all damage done by her. And the judge dismissed it without her being there and said, oh, you can probably just fix it. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be fixed. I can't fix this. And they just dismissed it. They said, sir, this court is over. You can leave. And that's
Wow.
it.
Right. No harm, no foul.
That's crazy.
That was a woman who kicked your ass.
What
Why are
state
you
are you
even
in?
in here?
What state are you in?
That's insane.
He's in
Ohio.
Cincinnati.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I just want to know where I can go do my dirt.
Oh,
Wow. Hey, good call, man. Thank you,
Definitely do it
Randy.
here.
thanks for sharing.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
I had a question for men.
Go ahead.
Who is more abusive, your wife or your side chick? Like, I want to know.
Wow.
question.
Jesus, man. That's
What
a
may be the
great question. 844-55-1.
My Twitter needs to answer that.
What's your Twitter?
At Miss Tabor, Taber.
And you?
At Neecole C at Twitter.
Yes, please tweet your insults to Neecole. What's the Twitter again?
Send me love. Don't send me.
Don't send me no
outrage.
bullshit,
She
right?
might beat your ass.
'Cause I will
And
send you back
Cheyenne,
some.
yours?
_Dr. Bryant, _Dr. Bryant. If you're going to project your insecurities on me like Zoe does via Twitter or social media, do not tweet me. I will not be responsive
DC?
to that. Cut my mic off. I've said what I had to say. Goodbye.
DC?
This is hilarious.
Again,
I love it.
Avalon Major, right? On Twitter says, being combative and excessively aggressive and verbally abusive does not exhibit strength, ladies. Misnomer.
I agree.
844-55-1. Take that. Take that. Take that. Take that. Take that. Sherman, South Carolina. You're on the line.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Zoe? What's up, Whitney? What's up, Neecole?
What's
Hey,
poppin'?
Sherman.
What's happening?
Man, nothing much. I will say this as far as when it comes to women and violence. It's kind of like, now, ladies, don't get offended. It's kind of like when you deal with kids. When you raise little kids and they'll pressure and they'll push you to see how far they can get with you. So I think that's when the vetting process becomes huge, because when you first meet a woman, you've been dealing with a woman for, a short period of time, and she challenges you, and that's not what that's not where you want to go. You have to nip it in the bud quickly, because sometimes women will push you to see how far they can get with you.
Do you
But if
think
you
women
nip it
do
in the
that
bud
when?
early-
Do you think a woman does that because they don't respect you?
I did.
That's part of it.
Also,
That's part of it.
also, I believe from my experience that women do it because men allow us to do that. So you allow us to dishonor you. Wait a minute, because one time I remember checking a guy I was in past relationship, and he said to me these words. Whatever I said to him, he said, "I will slap the dog shit out of you." Now, listen, I didn't want him to literally slap me, obviously, but just the fact that he let me know I couldn't talk or disrespect him in that way, like a lot of other men had allowed me to, it did something to me. It made me think. Honestly, listen, it made me think like,
It made you want to drop your jaws after
I was
that.
you know what? I'm gonna be honest. It did two things. No, it did two things. It may sound sick. It did two things. It turned me on. I ain't gonna front.
I knew it.
And it
Yeah,
also
okay.
let me know. It also let me know this is a big man. If he was to really slap the dog shish out of me, I would be in trouble. So let me just check myself and have more respect for him.
I think women really like violence.
I do too. The way that she just, I was like,
I mean, because violence,
yeah.
I think for a lot of women, and maybe you guys can question me on this. Maybe you can call in
no.
and verify.
But I would never be turned on by a black eye.
844-55-1, 844-55-1. Get to your phone lines right now. I think.
But Neecole, but him saying that turned you on.
No, it didn't. I'd
just
never
said
been
it
threatened by
did.
dudes. I said you were turned on by
I
it.
was. Okay.
So the point I'm trying to make, I think sex and violence are related for women.
Sometimes I believe they go hand in hand.
Somebody get to the phone line, 844-55-1. We'll be back in 2.2. Taking a break. Crazy topic.
Hot button.
Man, this is a revolutionary type show, right? We got bad language. We're cursing and yelling and fighting and
Getting violent.
no, but what's beautiful about it is we still have the difficult conversation that the people with more etiquette are afraid to engage. That's what the voice of reason is about. You may agree, you may disagree, you may be on board, you may be like, this is some bullshit, but we're going to have the conversation regardless. So I got a couple of questions here, right? No one ever asked the question, what did I do to bring this situation about? Both men and women. Like when you speak to anybody, most people in conflict, they're always set to point the finger at other people, right? Right. You did this. You said this. This is how I took it. Right? No, they don't even get to this is how I took it. Fuck, this is how I took it. Because for most people, how you take it is your reality, right? You can't undo another person's reality, and you can't give them your perspective in order to see yours clearly, right? Well, most smart people, right? A lot of unintelligent people, you'll be just like a hamster on a wheel, just going in circles. So when it comes to violence in relationship, I want you guys to give me your top 3 things that you did that either you got slapped in the mouth for, or you thought to yourself, if there was ever a moment I could have got slapped in the mouth,
That was it.
it was it. This right here was the situation. Get to your phone lines, 844-55-1. Both men and female. I want to know. Neecole, you've said a lot of things.
I have. Actually, I got a question right here, though.
You just going to skip past my question?
No, I'm not going to skip past
I
your
need your
question.
top 3.
I've never got slapped in the mouth, though.
But have you done something where you thought, I dodged a bullet? You
yeah,
should've.
absolutely.
All right, so give me something.
I've spent too much money.
Neecole. What are the top 5 signs that you're dealing with a cellmate instead of a soulmate?
I've said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Give me an example. You always say the wrong thing at the wrong time here, but give me an example in your intimate relationships.
You know, I've said like I'm going to do something and I did not do it.
And you felt like after that happened, I deserved to get
Slapped.
or,
Yeah.
I dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
you must have did some real cold shit or
Absolutely.
didn't do some real cold shit that you were supposed to do.
Absolutely. Like, I didn't pay your rent with your rent money that you gave me, and I went shopping.
Ooh. That's a crime of passion for your ass. I'm going to get evicted because you wanted some shoes?
Exactly.
Damn. 844-55-1. Get to your phone lines right now. Whitney?
Oh, let's see.
I know Whitney done did some shit.
Yeah. When I found my husband cheating and I flashed. I like blacked out. I was cussing at him so crazy. I was squeezing my hand so I was like inches from beating his ass. And after that, he straight up said, a week or two after we were cool, he said, I was just thinking the whole time I didn't know what to do when you hit me. Like, he was like, yeah, she's gonna knock me out. It's a wrap.
I told you. Men be like,
he said, I don't know what I
do. I have to go I got to go somewhere on her. When you guys cross lines, we have to step back and like kind of rethink, like, who the fuck am I right now? I could.
Because I went ham. Another time, let's see, man. There's a lot of times, man, that I probably could have.
That you could have.
You know, I play basketball, so I talk a lot of trash on the court. Right. So actually, there was an altercation. This is a prime example of women are more violent. Back in college, I played basketball, and my entire team, some girl from another team, swung on my friend on the court. So our entire bench cleared, and we just got him up right there on the court. All girls.
Have you ever
college basketball?
Girls basketball can be kind of violent, for sure.
Like, we try to foul people.
Any girl sports can
Cheyenne?
be violent.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty swift at the mouth anyways. That's my norm.
That's
an
understatement.
Yeah. And you know, and I am competitive in many areas. So there's probably more of the time that I say things that not just men, but women are like, ooh, I probably should just take one right now. So I got to say more of the time. My mouth is pretty swift, and not everyone can handle or take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff. Listen, joining us right now is Hecka Activated.
Hecka.
Y'all know who she is. She's the resident celebrity psychic medium. When I tell you the show we did today on Jamie Foxx's Foxhole Radio on Sirius XM 98, Hecka and I get up there and we do astrological and psychic readings for folk. Today's show was out of this world. Hecka killed.
Yeah, it was.
Gee, she killed. Hecka, talk to me about the violence of women.
Hey, Hecka, how you doing?
What's up, Hecka?
Great. How are you? You know what? I'm pretty cut and dry with this topic. I have a zero tolerance for abuse on any person. I don't care whether you're man, woman, or child.
Thank you.
So I take the approach that if you're big enough to raise your hands to hit someone, then you should be more than able to take the retaliation that you receive back from that person.
Word.
You know, I think people that attract those type of energies, they do so because that's what makes them feel good. Some people don't feel like they're loved unless they're receiving an ass whooping.
Ooh.
I mean,
There
it
it
starts
is.
out as children.
Or
with
some
the
people don't
biblical
feel like they
principle,
getting
spare the
fucked
rod,
unless
spoil the
they're-
child.
Yeah.
If you spare the void, then you'll spoil the child. So as children, we're told that physical abuse is a form of love. So as we grow older and we begin to think that our partners don't love us unless there's some form of abuse.
Well, wait a minute, Hecka. Say you were raised in a good household, in a good family household, right? In a good situation. Say, you know, everything was cool. But yet you have this penchant for violence during sex.
Sadomasochism.
I'm just saying, I think violence is part of the human condition. And this is what I mean by all of these damn platitudes. There should never be any violence in our relationships. It is terrible, and no one. This is coming from the same species that is violent. Listen, do you know what it takes? I mean, do you anybody who has say Netflix?
Everybody.
Right, everybody has it now on their phones. Look up the making of the bomb.
I saw that.
Hiroshima, right? when they dropped it on Nagasaki, or when they were battling, when they took over this island called Bikini Atoll, so America could,
build this bomb
develop
with
it.
Oppenheimer. Yes.
Right. So listen, this is why I'm fusing kind of ambivalent, ambiguous kind of topic, because in one sense, there's acceptable violence, right? Listen, General MacArthur, we saved more lives by dropping the bomb on Nagasaki, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Because that ended the war. So in a way, we saved more lives by killing the 150,000 people we obliterated with a bomb.
Wow.
So let's just, you know what I'm saying? We always talk this, we're always trying to talk this stuff, man, about violence. And the reality is, violence is who we are as human beings. You're never going to get rid of it all, ever. There's no relationship that you're going to experience zero violence in some way, shape, or form. Emotional, verbal, physical, psychological. You're going to experience some kind of violence at some point in your life.
Violence.
844-55-1.
Violence is an intrinsic, innate characteristic of each and every human being.
No question. No question.
I have a question here from Dave Hamp from the Bay Area. And it's for you, Zoe. It says, do you think that women trying to incite violence are trying to see if the man is strong enough to protect them better than they have been able to themselves?
I think when women get to the point where they want to incite violence from a man, they've lost all respect for him. You have to remember the word respect, right, comes from the word reverie, Latin, reverie. This is where we get our word reverend. This is where we get our word revere. And guess what its root is? To fear. And at the bottom line, we're animals. And when a woman stops having reverence, respect, and some level of, he might fuck me up if I cross the line in her, if she loses that, and I'm not saying this, I'm not an advocate of this, I'm just saying we're animals. And I don't care how refined and, I studied at Cambridge. Yes, you get mad and lose it too. That's one of the first things they teach in law school is you can ruin your fucking life in an instant by losing control.
Reaction.
You feel what I'm saying? Beware from New York. You're in the building. The voice of reason is online right now. Talk to me, brother.
What's good? Topic you guys have on this evening. It's a topic that should be covered. You made some statements that I wouldn't say I agree with you 100%, brother, because
that's fine.
You were said in human beings and humans that you believe that there is a violent nature, a tendency for violence, and you used the example of Nagasaki and Hiroshima when the United States dropped a little boy and big boy on Japan to stop that war. Well, when you look at history and you study history, not his story, but our history as African descendants, that we are what you call human beings. When you break down the word human, H-U-E means of color or from color. The word man is a two-legged being walking upright. We are human beings. Now, the behaviors that you describe were the behaviors of those that anthropologists and scientists refer to as mankind.
Wait a minute. Okay, I got you. Listen, brother, I got you. And I'm not trying to cut you off disrespectfully. I'm actually going to keep you on the line because I want to hear more of this. Let me just say, to make the racial distinction that you're making is easily defensible when you look at Bloods and Crips. It's easily defensible when men of color, listen, when men of color can be paid off by the FBI or the CIA to go kill Malcolm. So to make a racial distinction,
information a little twisted.
No, I don't. Come on, man, talk to me.
You got to research because I am a member of the nation, and as
I could hear that.
As you speak that, there are brothers who were involved with that, who were part of the nation. But as there were brothers who were part of it, there were FBI agents and informants who were also a part of that assassination.
So equally responsible, right?
Crips. When you you study the behavior of brothers who call themselves Bloods and Crips, these brothers don't behave as the way that was set forth by their ancestors and forefathers. They set the way that they had been taught by their slave masters.
So the slave masters taught
living, that caveman dwelling, that
let's go
survival
deeper.
of the fittest type of existence.
Let's go deeper,
and that's
brother.
Not the nature of the black man.
Let's
That's
go
the nature
deeper.
Of the white man.
That's the nature of the black man today.
Well, I have to agree with you because this is.
So either you're going to agree or disagree. That's the nature of the black man today.
Well, not all black men. I'm a black man. I don't live like that, brother.
Well, but again,
That's right.
but
That's
again,
right.
we can't say not all or some, because I always clarify on this show that we don't speak in absolutes. So intelligent people don't speak in absolutes. We all have to generalize because we don't know everybody in every situation. But when you brought the racial element to it, what you did was you took out what's happening right now today in Chicago. You took out what's happening in Watts.
That is a result of the racial element.
I get
You have
that.
to understand that.
I get that.
You're talking to a brother who's on the phone who has knowledge of self. I'm grounded in my history, my culture, my traditions, and I don't live like brothers who aren't grounded in that. Now, brothers who aren't grounded in the truth of who they are, their culture, their history, and their tradition, they live like what you are explaining. But that behavior is taught by
Now,
the
brother,
slave master.
now you have to remember this too.
When you send me to school,
Okay, can we go back and forth? Wait.
When you send me to school, let me just get this point.
No, hold on. When we go back and forth, you make a point, I make a point. You don't get to go on the filibuster on my show. You make a point, I'll make a point. Okay? Is that fair? Put him back on. He hung up? See, we got to go back and forth, man.
New York, we love you.
Hey, call back. We got to go back and forth. You can't just go on a filibuster and get on a soapbox. I'm going to listen to you, but you also got to listen to me, too.
Get to your phone lines right now, 1-844-55-1, the voice of reason.
I don't want to hear no fucking, I don't want to hear any more excuses. We know what happened. We know what the repercussions are, right? And again, at the end of the day, you cannot say brothers today are less barbaric than the next man. You just can't. I'm a stand on that. You just can't.
All men are created equally.
Who created Lil Wayne? No disrespect to Wayne, but what is he talking about in his records? Does it sound like is that an extension of racism? Is that an extension of slavery? What he's talking about? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Lil Wayne was created by Holly Grove, the holy Mecca.
Hey.
So again, we're talking about human beings. Is he back? There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good job,
New
Beware. Because I definitely want to have a conversation with you, brother. But you gotta follow. You gotta follow the rules of etiquette. You make a point, I make a point.
So you hung the phone up on me?
No.
Never.
We thought you hung up.
Nah.
So again, you made a racial point about the barbaric white man. Who taught the white man slavery?
Who taught him that?
The black man.
No, that's not true.
That is true. The word slave itself comes from Yugoslavia, Slavic. Who created slavery? It was black people. It was black people who created slavery. There's books out there that you can find called White Slavery, when black men ruled Europe, called Moors. We enslaved them first. And there's two different kinds of slave. Well, there's two kinds. Hold on, brother. I'm going to give you yours. There's two different kinds of Moor. If you want to get into this kind of history and take us off the topic, I'm with it. I love it.
Well, come with
I'll
it.
get in there.
Go. If you're gonna go, go.
I'll go
Don't
there.
ad lib.
There's two different types of Moor. You had the dragon Moor and you had the phoenix Moor. The dragon Moor was a brute. He killed Europeans. He enslaved and fucked all of the virgins. This is where you get the story of the dragon who can only be appeased by virgin blood. Right? They turned them into myths and stories. Then you have the Phoenix Moor, who was the one who created the secret societies that was designed to liberate Europe from the Dark Ages.
Exactly.
Right? So there's two different type of Moor, bruh. right? And I'm just talking about the orders. I mean, we can go deeper into the history, but we can't fucking excise black men from some level of barbarism in terms of our behavior. You got good people and bad people of all races. You have good masters and you have bad masters. Let's not just marginalize it and say, well, the white man is the king of bestiality and the king of anger and the king of this and that. He learned it from us. The white man is our child, technically. Right. And he learned our civilization, but he also learned our violence. There's no way you can get away from it, because I'll go all the way back to the fable of fucking Set and Haru, right?
And Osiris and Isis.
I'll go all the way back to Cain and Abel. Those black people killing each other.
But let's go a little further then, brother, because when you look at the principles in which Africans live, first of all, when you look at how long Africans have been on the earth, there is scientific and anthropologic evidence that we have been here for at least 3 million years. When you look at how long we have been under the current theology, which is predominantly Christianity or Islam or Judaism, all of those theologies we have been practicing for about maybe 6,000 years. Prior to that 6,000 years, you have to, when we examine how African people lived and you examine how European lived and you compare the existence on the two species, you will find some very, very distinct differences. One of the differences is that African people, from the beginning of time, have always been in tune with their nature, with the essence of who they were. And this is an evidence of that can be seen with the high level of civilizations that were built throughout African history, throughout world history, and the how other nations and other empires sought out African empires because of their high level of civilization and education. Per point example.
All right,
if you,
but look,
you know, so we talk about Jesus.
We go.
You filibustering.
We're going to build and destroy on another conversation, because the topic of today's topic is actually
what he's trying to do is say in some way black men are not as violent. And
black
I'm saying,
just as much
and I'm saying there are black
else.
women out there that would probably disagree.
Absolutely.
But I think I think what he's saying is that himself as a black man is
we don't
not
wanna,
as
we don't want to
violent.
lose him.
Yeah,
we don't
he
lose
didn't
him.
say black men in general. He said himself is a black man and is
but
not
here's the thing.
violent.
Here's the thing. If you're speaking for yourself,
Yeah.
you can only speak for yourself.
That's what he did.
You cannot speak for black men in
But
general.
he didn't say black men in general. He
Well,
said
he went
I
back-
myself.
wait a minute. He went back to
am
the-
a black
to the
man, and
whole-
I don't operate or hold myself up to that standards. What he said. He didn't say black men in general are not violent.
What he did was he went back and talked about culture and black men in culture. Now, if we want to talk about black men in culture, if we want to talk about Africa, it's Africans in Somalia that are forcefully circumcising women. Right?
Yeah.
That's happening. Can right? What was it women who captured the 300 girls and never brought them back?
No.
All right. I just, again, I don't want to hear that. I'm not, and let me say, I appreciate the brother for calling in. I love a spirited debate, but you're not going to take the man, Homo sapien, from Africa and say there's no violence in him. It's impossible. We civilized the world. Where did the rest of the world learn or model violence from? I know, but y'all got to hold on. Where did the rest of the world get that? Where did the rest of the world get anything? Religion, spirituality? Where did they get anything from? They modeled it from somewhere. And we can't simply say, oh, they modeled all of the good shit from us, but none of the bad. That's childish. That's a rudimentary argument. I'm sorry. Listen, we got to take a quick break. I'll be back in 2.2 seconds. This was fire. Beware from New York. You can call in anytime, man. Oh, keep him on the line, man. I love
I like Beware. He's very attractive in his words and his wisdom. I like that.
Man, oh, Manischewitz.
We are on fire.
I love this topic, man. I love that last caller. I think he's still on. Beware from New York. Man, you're a great caller, man. You know you can call in any time you want to, brother. This was good information, man. And, you know, I appreciate you sharing with us. We're a little bit off topic, but we want to talk about the violence that's happening. I mean, if we look at African-American women today, they're different than who they used to be in the 50s, let alone back in ancient Kemet, right?
Yes.
So we have to deal with them in context of the moment. And when we look at black men in the moment contextually are not even a shadow of who they used to be when they were kings.
I agree.
So,
100%.
So to play the blame game, because that's really what it is, well, we like this because of the white man, or we like this because of this. And that is true. But when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, how do we rediscover divinity? How do we rediscover personal sovereignty?
You know, that's an excellent question, brother. And I even appreciate you for putting that on the table. You know, for myself, and I'm just using myself as an example, you know, when you check my history, I don't have a schoolboy history. I grew up in Brooklyn in New York during a time where crack hit. And, you know, a lot of the older guys, you know, us guys who grew up without a father, those older guys who were those dealers and hustlers, they would take us out of town and we sell our little drugs out of town. And I was a whole part of that crack movement in the 80s. Not a part of it, but I'm glad that I made it out of it. And when I was in prison, an older brother came to me and he see me getting in a lot of confrontations and fights and craziness. And he said, man, if you don't change your way, you're going to die in here. I was about 21 years old. And I already thought I was going to die before I reached 25 anyway, so he wasn't saying anything that scared me. But he gave me this book. And he said, man, read this, and I don't want to see it till you finish. And the book turned out to be The Message to the Black Men and Black Women of America by Elijah Muhammad.
I've read it.
Now,
it's a great book.
I've never heard anything like it. Say again? I
said I've read it. It's a great book.
I just opened it to maybe like the middle, and it said, look at yourself. You call yourself a man? Look what you did to your community and your women and your family, and that's not what men do. Men protect and secure their women and family and children, and it just spoke to my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that book, which I read in one night, I wanted more, and I kept getting more. And now, when I look into where I am now in my life, I'm 44 years old. I did 8 years in prison, which doesn't define me. That was just an experience. But the information that I got while I was there from those people, it was as if I was in the dark my entire life. And then you, Brother Williams, you said, come here. You said, Beware, why are you in the dark, man? And then you turn the light switch on, right? And as you turn the light switch on, I saw the radio, and I saw the microphones and the headphones and the other guests that you have there in the studio with you. And you said, Beware, what's wrong with you, man? Those people have been there the whole time. It's just that you couldn't see them, and that's because I was in the dark. Knowledge of self, from my experience, is what made that change and difference in my life. It's what enabled me to be in tune with the nature of who I am, with the essence of who I am, and be able to stand on that as a foundation that's like a navigation system that would drive me and direct me through this thing we call life experiences.
Well, listen, brother, let me just say this. Let me say this, man. I got to move on back to my topic. But you got a VIP pass to come through anytime. And when I do topics on culture, right, on our history, man, I'm going to call you first. Yeah?
Well, I appreciate that. But that silence thing that you spoke of, our sisters are definitely outside of the nature of who they are. But when you understand that women submit to their men, and that our women are the reflection of where we are as a community, you're absolutely right. There's something has gone awry. Something's out of place with our people.
I got one question for you.
You speak of violence. When there's no violence that we have committed, even commit, that can even touch on the scale.
No. And listen. Okay, so now we got to roll, because out of everything you say, you invalidate it when you try to say somebody else's violence is more than mine.
Right.
Or somebody else. Pain is pain. Hurt is hurt. Violence is violence. So, I may not have committed as much violence as this person. That don't give you a get out of jail coupon for whooping ass?
It's called downward social comparison. I'll say something bad about someone else so that I can say and feel better about myself.
There you go. Make your money up in here, Neecole.
That's what I do.
Jeez. Again, I'm loving this show. I'm loving it right now. Top 10 signs you're dating a cellmate instead of a soulmate. Well, if somebody is self-absorbed, pompous, egocentric, grandiose, narcissistic, thoughtless, insensitive, inconsiderate, chances are you're going to probably get pushed to your limit. Who's dating that person? Who's married to that person? Let me open up the phone lines one more time. Is there a justifiable slap in the mouth offense? Like for women, the slap in the mouth offense might be cheating, right? I caught him, just like Whitney. What did you do, Whitney, when you caught somebody cheating?
Cussed him all the way out.
That's
Like,
it? You didn't smack him?
No, I didn't smack him. I
Who
threw.
did you?
Hey, well, hold on.
What'd
though.
you do?
He wrote me all these letters and whatnot, so I was throwing the letters in his face. It was like a Tyler Perry movie. I was throwing. Yeah, it was nuts.
Hecka.
Yeah.
Hecka activated. Have you ever slapped the smooth Kool-Aid out of somebody because they offended you in your relationship?
No, but I have slapped someone in my younger years. I was pretty violent.
What did he do? What did he do to make you slap him?
Well, it wasn't a he; it was a she. You know?
But it was still an intimate relationship, yes?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, it wasn't an intimate relationship. It
I was about to say, Hecka, hey.
School stuff, fighting, that type of thing. So I've never gotten to the point of actually utilizing any type of violence when it comes to my relationships. I think each person should be mature enough to know how to handle themselves appropriately and control their emotions appropriately in a relationship. Now, I want to make one point in reference to the caller that we just had. I'm an astrologer, and I look at astrological charts daily. And when I look at astrological charts, I see energy. I don't see color. I see energy. And I can look at somebody's astrological chart, and I can tell them whether they receive or give violence. I speak to Chinese people. I speak to Mexican people. I speak to black people, white people. I speak to them all. And they all have the same exact aspect in their astrological chart that depicts a violent person. So color doesn't matter.
Wow.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
Regardless of what color you are.
That's what I'm saying. Ishmael from Dallas, you're on the line right now, man. Talk to us, man. Have you ever got beat up by your girl? I know it's embarrassing.
Oh, he hung up.
He's gone.
Did he go?
That would be a
He
yes.
hung up, dang it.
That would be
Who do we lose? We lost everyone. Didn't we?
I have one question, I'm not sure quite if it's more of a question or a statement, but once again, our guy Dave Hamp from the Bay is on deck, and his question is: if this generation of men has been raised by mostly single mothers and are the same men driving these abuse statistics, would it be fair to say
they're learning it from their
are
mama?
not only more violent but are more prone to perpetuate that negative behavior?
Listen, I think the source. Let's go deep really quickly. Anger, frustration, violence. Right? I always tell men you're interfacing with women in reverse. Meaning you're trying to get to know what she thinks so you can then model your behavior to what she thinks so she can then think he's a good catch, right? You model your behavior to what she thinks, what she values. You go, okay, I'm in. She says you're in because you're doing. I always tell women, use your intuition to connect to being as opposed to doing. Men are busy doing because there's an end result in their doing. That's why I say behaviors speak louder than words, but intentions don't speak louder than a woman's intuition. She's too busy ignoring her intuitive spiritual process. So look how this may shift her into anger mode. I have an ideal. His behaviors are matching that ideal. And then I find out that his intention wasn't in alignment with his behavior. You owe me. You were supposed to deliver on that. Then the expectations of what you were supposed to deliver in alignment to that idea gets ruined. Right. Oh, so really you going to fuck my dream up? Well, I got something for you, dream killer.
But a lot of times, to add to that, so a lot of times women are out of alignment with what they want when they deal with the men that they deal with, because they don't listen to their intuitiveness, which tells them this is not what you want, or he is not what you want. For example, a woman who wants a man who is not married and has no kids, but she's dating a man who has 6 kids and he has an ex-wife. Well, she's out of alignment with what she wants to begin with. And then also, really quick, energy's everything. So a lot of times what we defend against, we create anyways.
That's beautiful. I love it. Hecka?
Yes.
Are you with us? Are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
Great.
I got disconnected for a
Great.
minute, but I'm back.
Are you listening to this?
Yes. I am. I am listening to it. And,
Let me ask you a direct question.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't get a chance to ask you this. Do you really feel like men are more violent than women, or is it the other way around?
In all honesty, I talk to people daily, and in my daily interaction with people and the work that I do, I have to honestly say that I find more abused women than I do men.
You find
I come into contact with
more. Oh, you come into contact with. Okay.
I come into contact with more abused women than men.
And does that speak to the fact that there are more of them, or men tend to not report or underreport? They're both massive underreporting going on.
Yeah, I think there's underreporting going on. However, I have to say that I disagree in the fact that men are more abused than women are. I mean, women are abused physically, they're abused emotionally. I mean, they're disrespected. I mean, women are abused on a daily basis just by turning on the radio.
But again,
That's a good one.
That's not really a good one.
That was a good one, Hecka.
And I'll tell you why it's not good.
So whatever Zoe says is right. I think that was a good one, Hecka.
Anything we say regarding stats, right? Stats can be manipulated. Stats can be whatever, flipped around to represent. If you go to the CDC, they have the actual information on who's the most violent in relationships.
It's called the National Domestic Violence Statistic.
Right. It's women. So we can't, this is what I'm saying, we have to back up our opinions with information. Right? We have to understand, most people don't know the strata of domestic violence. IPV, CCV, IT. Most people don't know that. IPV, CCV, you know how it's dealt with? It's dealt with clinicians, therapy. You know how IT, intimate terrorism, is dealt with? Police reports. Not all domestic violence situations are a police reportable situation. True. Most people don't understand that the research that's out there, and we're talking about not the research that's funded by a feminist group to justify their their stance.
Zoe just lost his thought.
Jesus.
A beautiful woman walked in the station, and Zoe just said,
right? So
he's gorgeous. Y'all.
Most people don't understand that. There's information out there. There's empirical data out there that's telling us. Just because you only meet a battered woman or you meet multiple battered women doesn't mean that they're the only people out there that's being battered.
Well, all of these statistics are going to be referenced with a plausible amount of variables that are not contributed to these studies because they're limited.
Indeed.
Very limited.
They're limited.
I will smoke a bag of that.
Please do.
I have a question for the women on the panel.
Oh, shit.
Ladies, if you were in a relationship with a female, be honest, too. I don't want none of that cookie cutter. Be real. Because me and my friends have the discussion all the time. If you were in a relationship with another female and y'all got into it, would you smack her and would you feel like you shouldn't get in trouble by the police because you both are women.
Nicole, you want to take that first?
If we got into a verbal altercation or we got into a physical
Physical, it's violence, emotional, physical.
If I got into a
you
physical,
smack that.
if I got into a physical altercation with anyone, a woman or a man, I don't care if it is an intimate relationship. I'm going for mine. I'm going for broke.
So you would smack a bitch?
Absolutely.
And do you think that you should be in trouble by the police because y'all are both women?
I think at that point I'm willing to take whatever repercussions come my way, but I'm going to go for broke.
So Nicole's beating bitch's ass. Cheyenne, what are we doing?
I'm going for the juggler, and I'd probably be the first to hit. Because my thing is this: if I'm in a relationship with a woman, although I'm feminine externally, internally, I would be the stud male of the relationship. I'm
absolutely
too dominant.
is on top.
I would.
Oh, period. I'm too dominant and I'm too dogmatic. So no woman's gonna ever have the upper hand with me in any relationship.
Okay, so then the police
so I'm
show
slapping
up.
her first, probably.
The police show up, and somebody has to go to jail because that's how domestic violence works.
She's going.
One person is going.
Hecka, I want to get Hecka's opinion on this too.
I have totally in my life learned to not allow situations to get to a point where I'm actually lashing out at people or people are lashing out at me like that. I think it's the most mature thing to learn how to be bigger than that and just walk away.
Okay, a question for all of the ladies, and I'm gonna start with Hecka. In general, is it easier for women to befriend women or men? Do women typically have more male friends or do they typically have more female friends? And if they have more male friends versus female friends, why? Hecka?
I know where you're going with this. I get where you're going with this.
I'm just
I
asking.
would have to speak from experience. And in my experience, I have more male friends. I have more male friends, and the reason why is because women can get a little chatty. Yep. At times, and men are much easier to talk to.
I have more men friends as well, and the reason being is because I'm a guy's girl.
I like it.
Turn off Nicole's mic for the remainder of the show. Whitney.
I have more male friends.
Why?
I have big boobs. Just keep
it
real,
does.
Whitney. I'm just saying. No,
she does.
And I'm a tomboy. I played sports my whole life. I like men. They like Hecka said. Girls talk too much. I talk too much. I'm on talk radio, man, guy. That's it.
I love it. Cheyenne?
I definitely have more female friends. I'm a girly girl. I connect with women more. And I also find that majority, if not all of my male friends, usually have an ulterior motive where they're my friend at that time, but they really either want to be intimate with me, date me, or they've been in love with me for the past 10 years.
Boom.
And so a lot of times their opinions or their advice is usually biased.
And it's based on the fact that they are in love with you in secret.
And they're trying to get in them draws.
I mean,
I believe
I'm just checking, Nicole, you
it.
do?
I believe
Thank
that.
you. And I'm not
agree.
saying just me. I think with a lot of women in general.
Generally, all men's ulterior motives whenever they're friends with a girl eventually is to sleep with them. That is the end.
Yeah, I had to cut everybody's mic because this bullshit was just Alice in Wonderland down the bullshit hole. D from Maryland, you're on the line right now. This fucking commiserating
Here we go.
hen house. D, holla at me.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Zoe? Hey, what's up?
What's happening, man?
Hey, I just want to say something right quick. I just think sometimes the media get domestic violence misconstrued because every time when a man hits a woman, they always pick up from the impact of the guy. They never really go into contact.
Ain't no context.
And,
you shouldn't have hit her.
And another thing, and I just think sometimes they don't know that sometimes women can create an environment that will produce a violent man. So every man who is in a domestic situation is not a serial. Is not a what's the word I'm looking for? Is not a serial abuser.
Right.
Sometimes men get pushed to a point where they never thought they'll get pushed to.
Right.
But does it make that okay?
Impact.
Does it make it okay?
That's not what he's saying.
That's what I'm asking, though.
But that's not what he's saying.
I'm not asking you to overtalk my question.
Let's do this.
I mean, sheesh.
Let's do this right here. He said something that I thought was very, very interesting. And he talked about, creating an environment, right? when we create an environment, especially in the relationship, there's a dyadic dynamic that's happening. There's a dual dynamic that's happening. Anything that happens to each individual in that relationship is a byproduct of what that person, each individual, has contributed to the situation. He said something about context, right? Again, if we just look at the end result of something and we don't look at what the steps that led up to it, how will we ever get understanding for how the situation happened? Right?
But even once you get understanding, it doesn't make the behavior exhibited okay. So that was my question from the beginning, and I'm not going to let it go because you want to overtalk. That's my question. You can have understanding, but it doesn't make the end result okay. Period.
Decent.
You can beam, you can cut my mic off, but that's what it is.
He gave it a gunshot. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, I think women are hella violent. And I think they're dual in that nature. They want to be angels. And then they want to be, Tupac, enforcers.
All day.
Right? And I think we need to fix this situation. How can we ever get women to be accountable in that way?
Well,
how could you present yourself to a man and be like, you know what, I do get violent. And if I don't get what I want, or if I feel like you've done something or whatever, I just may
spit in your face.
Spit on you. I've spit on people. I don't think women want to reveal all of that shit.
Absolutely not. I mean, but with me, my stance is accountability is the key to success no matter what. So maybe you reveal that and you get the perfect man that's like, you know what? I like being slapped in the face.
Spit on.
So thank you. I appreciate your
There
violence.
is somebody
I want
for
your love.
everybody, right?
I want your love.
Be 1,000%. Forget 100. Be 1,000 right from the jump.
We've got Mondo from Atlanta.
Mondo.
What's going on, brother Joe?
What's happening, brother?
Ladies, how y'all doing?
We're doing
right
great.
now.
What are you doing, Mondo?
I really just got a question. So, like, even in not intimate relationships, but just between men or just between women, is there ever an occasion where somebody just needs their ass whipped?
All the time.
Even between two men, or between two, not even in between men and women, but just in general. Like, some people will cross a line to the point where the words aren't going to work. And leaving the situation isn't going to work. Because sometimes the ass whipping is what will make them learn. Like, you can't do that.
Well, we all know sometimes everybody
Speak on it,
deserves
Mondo.
an open hand slap in the mouth. That goes without saying. But the action of actually doing it, I don't think anybody's the wiser for actually taking the action into.
I'm not trying to go
There's
to
too
jail.
many other alternative motives that you can use.
Well, see,
go ahead.
But sometimes, when somebody crosses a line with you, and it might not be in a comfortable setting.
You just want to whoop somebody's ass. Just say you want to whoop somebody's ass.
Who is it?
I'm asking.
This is the thing. Physical violence is never okay.
Yes, it is.
It is.
No, it's not.
I mean, in a form of self-defense, but yeah, he's saying.
So what are you saying? Is it never okay? Or
I mean, if you need to
never
defend
okay,
yourself because someone's putting their hands on you, then yes. But what I'm saying is,
Mondo brought up something that is making a lot of sense.
So why do we beat our kids?
Context. We whoop our kids.
Why do we whoop our kids
We pay
they're in
$90 to see Mayweather beat on Pacquiao.
That's
a sport. That's a sport.
That's a sport.
That's totally
Again,
different.
relationship is a contact sport too.
No, it's
And
not.
you-
Relationship is not a contact
It is
sport.
Yes,
not
it
a
is.
sport.
First of all, relationship's not a sport.
If we agreed earlier, first off, you play games. We've already broke that down. So
What?
relationship is a sport.
Not a
Right?
sport.
And it is a contact sport
Word.
because we've already agreed earlier in the show that violence from babies all the way to the elderly is
human.
pervasive.
Human beings.
It's a part of the human condition. So this is how people get tripped up. There's never an incident that's okay for violence. That's
No.
wrong.
Somebody comes and tries to rob you, and you're not going to smack them or do whatever you got to do to protect yourself. That's a form of violence.
American justice is violent.
I'm doing it. I'm smacking somebody.
I'm just saying, goddammit. Mondo, that was a good call, man. Thank you, brother.
A rally for violence happening in here.
No,
It's not necessarily a rally for violence. What it's doing is putting things in context. We like to live in platitude fairy tale world. Everything's going to be all right. It's not okay for violence. Violence is a part of it. Do you know what the number one factor for determining successful relationship is? Do you know what it is?
No.
Do you think it's good sex?
Money.
I would
Do you think it's money?
I think it's money.
I would hope
75% of all divorces, right, are over money.
Yes.
But do you know what the number one thing for keeping your relationship together is?
Sex.
Not sex.
No, it's not sex.
And it's not money.
Damn it.
Abuse?
It's not abuse.
I think it's being open without too many boundaries.
No, it's not that bullshit either.
That's what
It's
I think it is.
conflict
And it's not
resolution.
How well do you solve your problems?
How well do you problem solve?
Okay.
That is the key to successful relationships.
So you're not good at that.
So
then,
when
right?
we talk about
you're not
violence,
good at that then, right, Zoe? Because you've never been married. You ain't married now. You gonna cut my
Just
mic
because-
off?
wait,
cut
just-
my mic
no,
off.
no,
Cut my
no,
mic
no,
off.
no,
Cut my
no,
mic
no,
off.
no. No, leave her mic
Zoe
on.
is horrible at solution focus
I'll tell
mentality.
you.
He
I'll
does
tell
not
you.
know how to problem solve.
I'll
And what
tell
else,
you.
though?
You want to know?
And is
Like-
it negative Nathan as well? She couldn't
First off,
take all the negative,
No. You want to know?
distorted
now
thoughts
cut
you
her mic
placed
off.
on her that you
No.
projected onto.
No, do it. Thank you. Now,
I got Whitney's mic.
I love this. She stole Whitney's mic. But no, I'll tell you. I've never been married
Back on.
because turn it off.
Oh.
Off. Right? I've never been married because I don't believe in the construct, the social construct. Right? I believe that it started off as a spiritual movement and then it became a business agreement. She's just in the background heckling. Like, she's the peanut gallery. She's never, after this show, ever returning. I promise you. But again, I believe in the spiritual context of it, the union of it, what it was originally meant for. I think, as with most things in America, it's been commoditized, commercialized, Godzilla-sized, Bridezilla. And I think we lose the purpose of what it was for originally. Mm-hmm. And now it's just a business. And as a matter of fact, we talked about this in a previous show when we talked about the author of a book. Men, go get this book. It's called Men on Strike. It's an author, I forgot. It's a woman. What's her name, Chris? Do you remember the woman? Helen somebody, I think. But Men on Strike is the name of the book. And it's a woman who breaks down all of the different subtleties and nuances about marriage. And her final answer was, it doesn't work for men. He has too much to lose the way it's set up. Whether it's alimony, whether it's child support, whether it's, going to jail, domestic violence. It's too many losses for him. And she was like, no, we have to fix this social construct. So that's more of my perspective on marriage.
The book Men on Strike is by Helen Smith.
Helen.
Ooh, Google works,
I knew
man.
that. Thank you. Helen Smith.
Neecole.
Hecka.
Yes.
Hecka
I agree
activate.
with you, though.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the conflict resolution portion of your statement. And I say that because I was married, again, for 17 years. And I do feel that if we were both able to come to some type of resolution about how the relationship should be ran, as far as him wanting to see other people, then perhaps the relationship would have lasted. But at the time, I wasn't mature enough to see that. Now that I am, and I take a look back, I'm like, okay, I probably could have worked that out had we just sat down and talked about it and became more open about the situation.
Hecka, what's
I
your
won't get into a relationship unless we have that type of commitment.
Hecka, what's your number one conflict resolution tool?
My number one conflict resolution tool is openness, complete openness
Good answer.
on every level.
That was the number one answer. No, this isn't the Family Feud.
Ding, ding, ding.
Neecole?
My number one conflict resolution tool is being able to agree to disagree, leaving it at that.
That's a good one too. Whitney?
Mine is walking away to cool down. Like,
Time out.
I got to take a time out because I'm
Yeah.
going to freak out. So let me go think about what I need to really say to you. Because if I say what I want right now without thinking, it's going to be a problem.
Time out is good. Time out, Cheyenne.
Honesty and allowing each other to own your own truth without imposing your truth on one another.
Honesty. That's good. In my book that's coming out, The Relationship Dismount, it's 12 chapters on how to break up, right? It's a breakup book. How to stick the landing when leaving a difficult situation or relationship. In my book, I have this. You go into a space that's designated by the couple. You go into the space, and the space is an off-limits space. In other words, no lying, right? No judgment, all objective, active listening. And you guys are able to go in there, and only one person can talk at a time, right? So what I mean is, for a situation, today you get to talk and I only get to listen. And I have to listen objectively, non-judgmentally, and actively, right? No hands folded, disagreeing, pouting, pissing, none of that, right? You just listen, you take in what the person has to say, and then you put a timer on it, right? The timer is you have 15 minutes or 20 minutes to say whatever it is your problem. Tomorrow or the next day after that, after a cool down session, I get to come in and voice my 15 to 20 minutes. And then, of course, while each person is voicing whatever their issue is, everyone's taking notes. Then we meet again where we speak to each other and we compare notes and we work together to resolve the issues, right? But that first initial, I'm pissed at you, we're in this room, right? You just listen, that person gets to vent. Because a lot of times, that's what psychiatrists are for. They're just professional listeners, right? Imagine if you could listen to your partner without responding, do you see what I'm saying? And in that book, we outline that exercise in order to, resolve conflict. Again, the number one relationship saving tool is conflict resolution skills.
It's a lot of patience involved in the process.
God. Oh yeah. It's a heavy duty thing. You know what? This show was probably one of the best shows ever. We got African history. We got all types of shit going on. It was arguments and this shit was fire. I love it. Listen, Hecka Activated. Tell me, are people still coming to your website from the show?
Oh, my goodness. Every single day.
Turn-ups. They should. Where can they find you, Hecka?
You can visit my website, or they can visit my website by going to www.heckaactivated.com, or you can locate me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Hecka Activated.
Cheyenne Bryant?
Social media is _Dr. Bryant. Again, that's _Dr. Bryant. Facebook is Cheyenne Bryant. And to get my wonderful book, it's mentaldetoxbook.com, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. Just Google me. I'm number one on Google, pretty much. Google Mental Detox Book, and I'm number one on Google, period.
Good stuff. Whit?
What up, y'all? You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Miss Tabor. That's Taber. Facebook, you can hit my website, misstabor.com. Turn down for what?
And, of course, Neecole. Say your last name.
Cockerham. It's a good laugh, but y'all love it. You can find me at Neecole C at Twitter and Neecole Cockerham at Facebook.com. Same thing at Instagram.
Good stuff. I am ZoeWilliams.com. That's the website. Instagram at Mr. Zowhat. Mondays, T Radio V. Wednesdays, Foxholes. Tuesdays, Corey Holcomb 5150. We all over the board, but 3 days a week live on Hot Button Radio, Dash Radio, the voice of reason. You got to get at us. The show is on fire. I appreciate everybody's contribution, and we'll see you Friday, 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.